Hey guys, so now we're going to talk about my 3.5-year-old. And I just realized I love this background, but it has, oh, the other direction. It has a clock, and that's going to show the same time every single time because that's a still picture. And I don't know how I feel about that because, yeah, that's really going to bother me. I'm probably going to have to change backgrounds or like cover that up or something. I don't know. Try to figure that out. But all right, my 3.5-year-old boy is doing fantastic with his communication skills. So let's talk about his communication skills between ages 2 and 3. He wasn't as advanced as my daughter during that stage of development, but was still age appropriate. So when he reached age 3, he was communicating in some like telegraphic sentences, but definitely not fluidly in either one of his languages, but he could get his point across. They just were very like choppy and had a lot of grammatical errors and things like that, which is age appropriate for a 3-year-old, as long as they're making sentences. He went to a daycare between ages 2.5 and 3. Let me see, 2.5 and 3, I'm pretty sure. And the daycare was a Spanish immersion daycare, but the majority of his peers were English dominant. And so he was playing in English a ton, even though he was hearing the provider speak to him in Spanish. So during that time, he was also watching a lot of screen time because I had a baby. I was pregnant and then I had a baby, so I needed help. And I was going to say I became lazy, but I wasn't lazy. He was watching screen time in English, and I saw the impact it had on his language development, meaning that his English was developing beautifully and his Spanish wasn't. And I just was too focused on other things to just literally, like something as simple as like switching his shows to a different language at the time just seemed like something I just could not have the mental load to do. And so then when he turned 3, I made the decision we did switch his shows eventually, which helped. But I also made the decision to switch his daycares. And at his current daycare, the new one, it is a Spanish immersion daycare. So the provider is speaking Spanish, but his peers also are Spanish dominant. Not all of them, but some of them. And so he isn't just hearing adults speak in Spanish, he's actually playing in Spanish, which has a huge impact. So from 2 to 3, he went from being more dominant in English, less dominant in Spanish. And now from 3 to 3.5, he swapped and he is significantly more dominant in Spanish with, his English skills are actually doing really, really well. I heard him speak English recently with my in-laws, and I was like, whoa, because I rarely hear him speak English. And he could communicate really well. Of course, he communicates like a second language learner, or he has a lot of cross-linguistic influences in his English from his Spanish. And so it's really cute. But he can defend himself in both languages. Of course, in Spanish, he's just much more fluent and eloquent and has way more complex vocabulary and grammar. So from 3 to 3.5, his language development has just really taken off. Like he is like doing narrative language and using all kinds of grammatical structures. He'll be like, Mami, quizás mañana podemos ir a la piscina del buckets o algo así. Like he's made so much progress in just 6 months. But the last couple of weeks, we have heard him stutter. Now, stuttering can be developmentally appropriate for some preschoolers, depending on what kind of stuttering it is and depending on the child's risk factors, so on and so forth. This is a topic I love, so if it interests you, let me know, and I would be happy to give you more information on it. The thing is that he is 3.5. He's a male, and he has family history of stuttering. Those are 3 risk factors that make him more likely to be a child who continues to stutter beyond just the developmental period. especially because some of his stuttering, I mean, it's still like he's repeating whole phrases and he's repeating whole words, which is not super concerning. But so he'll be like, mommy, 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 Joel. So he's like repeating whole words, right? But sometimes I've noticed that when he gets stuck repeating the phrases over and over again, or the words over and over again, to get unstuck from that moment, he's starting to experience some like blocks and using some more effort and force to ease out of or get out of that moment, which is something we need to monitor because it could become concerning. So it's actually required, even though it's an area that I love to work on, it's required a lot of patience on my end to not finish his sentences, to not rush him when he's stuttering, and to just like slow down our interactions, because those are some of the best environmental changes you can do for a child who's stuttering, or an individual who's stuttering. Just lowering the time pressure, lowering the rush, lowering the stress, which I'm an Enneagram 3. I'm like, go, 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 get it done, come on, be efficient. And so for me to actually like have my child cue me or have a condition where it forces me to slow down, it's actually pretty cool. So I also communicated with his daycare provider tips and tricks on how to support him when he is having disfluent moments. And we're going to monitor it for about 6 months to a year. Of course, providing supports as able, and then go from there. If at any point it becomes the severity increases, then of course we would provide extra support to him. But with stuttering, you want to monitor it for about 6 months and see what it does, if it persists or if it goes away, so on and so forth. So that's where he's at right now. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.